has been not the best year for all of us. We have faced lots of issues, especially with the pandemic and with Black Lives Matter. And we just want to hear from entrepreneurs who have survived 2020 and hear their journey, their setbacks, and the things they've done to recover. So the aim is to look forward to the recovery plans, okay? I do encourage people who do join in to show their face, but obviously if you do not want to show your face, it's fine. You can mute when people do talk and unmute when you have a question or do you want to put a point out. So how this will go is we will have a session, a time to introduce each chosen entrepreneur. They will talk about their journey and we'll talk about what they've done to overcome that. So it is broken down in 3 parts, which is the first part is the benefits of being an entrepreneur. And the next part is the journey through COVID-19. And the third part will be recovery, okay? So we're going to begin our round the table introductions. And we're going to begin with Frederick.
Hi everyone. My name Zara. Just wanted to say thank you for getting this organised. Well done on that. My name's Frederick Kwame Efab, and you can call me Fred. So the business I run is called ML Official, and it's mainly a clothing brand. We're currently doing hats at the minute, and are looking to do clothes in the future. And I'll just start on why I started. Decided to do design hats and stuff and sell hats. So basically, I'll keep it short. Basically, back in 2017, in Feb, I took a short trip with my dad to Ghana. And during this time, I'm a accountant by trade, so 9 to 5 as an accountant. And I took the time out to go with my dad to Ghana, and it was my first holiday that I went with him. And during this holiday, I didn't know that he was feeling quite poorly, right? So during this time, I came back to the UK, started designing some hats, was a bit hesitant to show him because, having some African parents, they're a bit hesitant to kind of support ideas that are not, maybe accountancy related. And I showed him this sample and he really loved it. Unfortunately, he was diagnosed with cancer early April 17. Prior to him dying, he kind of saw the hats and he's really fond of the idea and he told me to pursue it. And unfortunately, May 17, he passed away. So in a way, the hat's kind of been my fallback and not to think about that and kind of get this idea across. I wanted something to reflect where I'm from, being Ghana. And yeah, I've got these hats here that I'm doing at the minute. I've been doing it since 2017 and they're really going well now. And I'm so thankful that I've, picked up this journey. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Freddie. And I condolences. I know it's been 2 years. Oh no, 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
Dad has passed away.
Yes.
But the beauty of it is you have created something from his passing, and that's the thing that's encouraging you to go on. So thank you for your introduction. I'm going to ask Kara P to also introduce.
Cool. My name's Kira, and I started Writing Wednesday, which is a journal prompt guide. So for those people who wanted to start journaling and actually don't really know how to, so I started that 2018 or so. So my mum passed in 2018, then a few months later, I put it all together, and then I released it as an ebook. So 4 months worth at a time, just to kind of get my confidence up. And then this year, May, is when I released the actual physical copy of the book. So it's 52 weeks worth of writing, so 1 a week, just to build up the idea of journaling for people. And
yeah. So once again, out of sorrow, you have started a business. And was your journaling experience started beforehand, or would you say the loss of your mother that led to you starting your business?
No, I've always been journaling. I think since I was about 13 or so. So I'm 28 now. So that's like 15 years of journaling. I guess it's my mum that really pushed me to journal a lot when I was younger. because she could kind of tell when my mind was like too busy or too full of stuff. So then she just introduced it that way and just gave me a book to write in, and I think it's helped ever since.
Great. Thank you, Kira. The next will be Mike.
Hey guys, my name's Michael McKinday. I run an indie music marketing agency called GrandX. It's an acronym that stands for Growing Real Networks Digitally Exclusive. So the idea was birthed when I was doing a joint event as part of a startup that I used to run to help students in employment. I realized that a lot of startup founders focus on marketing, and I have a lot of creatives around me, so I noticed that independent musicians don't really understand how to market their music. So I said to myself, how can we create a platform that supports them? As you know, if you're creative, you have so many different hats to wear and skill sets to pick up. So how do you find the time to separate the creative process from the marketing side of things? So I just said to myself, how can I create something that uses my educational experience, being a post-grad in computer science, to help them with the marketing side of things. So we help independent musicians, producers and record label owners to grow, monetize, and also just get their music out there in front of the right sort of supporters and listeners.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael, for your introduction. The indie music and musicians, that's a space that I've never touched before. Mm-hmm. Yes, I hear the music, but I wouldn't know what to do with them. So I'm glad we've got somebody like you and representative for the indie musicians. So yeah, congratulations for that. So we're going to start our conversation, and there are two more entrepreneurs who will be joining, but one's in Jamaica, so he'll be joining a bit later, and the other will be joining in when she's ready. Okay, so I just want to start off with the benefits of being an entrepreneur, and as we left off with Michael, I'm just going to continue with you for a bit. I just want to know, did you have more self-belief that you than you have now than that you had before? So do you have more self-belief in yourself since starting your business?
I think naturally any sort of entrepreneur, you'll gain a certain increase in self-belief, because being an entrepreneur, you have to be bold, you have to be courageous, and you have to believe in yourself. The one thing that I would say is there's like an emotional whirlwind of, believing that you can bring something that is in your mind into reality. So in regards to like self-belief, I would say it definitely increased, but you have to have an essence of self-belief in starting your journey from the get-go. I believe any entrepreneur that is on this today would agree with me that you have to have some ounce of self-belief starting out. But it increases as you continue to experience different things along, your journey into entrepreneurship.
So, and would you say that the level of confidence that you have before was greater before or after?
I would say it's definitely increased as I've gone through different experiences and learned new stuff about myself. So as you go along the journey, you just learn more and more, and your self-belief increases. So I'd say it increased over time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So this is to Freddie. Do you feel that running your business gives you more independence?
Yeah, I think it does. It does indeed. There's obviously aspects of the business that you get into and you don't know the answers to, and you kind of have to learn the skill sets. So yeah, I believe it does give you a bit more independency. That was the question, right?
Yeah. So that independence, even when you talked about in your introduction, you had said that you went to Ghana. You went to Ghana, and you said that since going to Ghana, it helped you build on motherland.
Yeah. So basically, in fact, my trip to Ghana, it was more of a trip with Dad to kind of find myself, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to have second stream of income, some sort of passive income, and I was reading books, a load of books. One book that I was reading that kind of helped me on this journey was a book called The Idea in You, and it kind of helps you, help bring ideas come to your mind and sort of ways to kind of tackle them and approach them. So I think along that journey and being here now, I believe I found ways to kind of be confident with myself, I should say. And, you know, having that self-belief, I think belief is quite important during this journey. And I think, yes, it's definitely allowed me to be much more independent, I'd say, 100%.
This question is to Kara or Keen. I wanted to find out, how has your business impacted the local community, or would you say has it made a change in the economy since you started your business?
I'd have to say no, mostly because it's a physical book, so I can't really say that, or I can't say I personally have impacted the local community. I'd like to say within like my school, so if I use school as a community, then yes, to an extent, because I've spoken about it to my team. So I work with special needs more than anything, more than typically developing children. And we've spoken about it as a team. Some of my team members had the book and they've used it themselves, and they found that they've kind of reduced their anxiety a little bit, and they found an outlet that kind of helped lead to other passions and hobbies, as well as being able to, as well as bringing it into school soon as a workshop. So I trialed it earlier when we were still in the pandemic and school was still on, but there were some issues with that. So I'll do it again, and hopefully then it'll actually make a better impact in terms of the children's mental health and well-being in that year group.
Yeah, when I gathered some like findings from you, you talked about like the mental health area, and that was a little link into your writing Wednesday. So for those who will just come in now, Kara writes a journal, and it's all about, it's for you to reflect and take your feelings out in this journal. So you don't really have to write it every Wednesday, right?
You don't have to write Wednesday. I just chose Wednesday as a middle day in the week.
Okay. And these journals, well, I have one myself. These journals give you space and room to write your thoughts down. And it's better than any diary because it gives you space to write your thoughts instead of diaries having lots of their own writing and saying lots of quotes on it. It gives you space. So you mentioned in your findings that one of the biggest things was like mental health. And do you think that mental health is different from varies from different culture or background or race?
Yeah, I think especially like within like the Black community, we don't really talk about mental health as much. I think it's been better in the last few years though. The conversation's bigger, it's wider, more people are happier to share about it. I want to say maybe I work with a lot of Asians and whites. I don't work with that many Black young people because they're just not a part of my school demographic or the children that I work with. And Asian people don't seem to really talk about it. White people are happy to talk about it. Within churches, I want to say specifically my church, we had an actual discussion on a Sunday last year once, and then this year we've had a lot more talks, Sunday evenings, Tuesday evenings, talks about mental health. So I want to say within my church specifically, mental health being talked about more instead of just, God, you can actually go and get therapy. It's been encouraged. But I couldn't say maybe in the wider church community as a culture, it's encouraged to go and seek out therapies and counselling, or just a way for you to speak.
So would you say that this is a point where you're going to try and reach out to the Black community with your writing journals, or is it a thing that you're just going to leave right now and stick with the same group of people that you're comfortable with?
I want to say I want to do it more with schools and children, just because those are the people that I deal with on a face-to-face daily basis. Within church, I've spoken to my church members about it. Some of them know that I have it. I haven't really pushed it too much in church. Just, I guess, as Michael mentioned earlier about being confident and stuff, I've grown in confidence, but not necessarily putting something into a space that people really, really know me, because I feel like I'd be judged heavily. So I haven't really pushed it in my church. But within schools and education and young people, that's actually where I want to head to, because again, they're the ones I see every day and I really do care about them.
Okay, great, thank you. So as everybody knows that this year was not easy, and at the same time as the pandemic, we also had the Black Lives Matter rise. It's not like we never had that before, but now we're more comfortable in talking about our matters and our issues within ourselves. But I wanted to find out from all of you actually, how has the Black Lives Matter movement including Black Pound Days also, has affected your businesses? Has it made an impact, or has it made it worse because your demographic of customers may not be Black customers? So I want to find out from anyone, well, it's actually from the main entrepreneurs for now, how has it affected your business or impacted it? So anyone can talk on this.
If I can just chip in, I would say it's been positive to see so many Black businesses like supporting each other. Being in a digital space, I would also say it's been hard as well, because you get no escapism from being online constantly, and just seeing some of the stuff that our people are being put through is tough to consume. And separating, like, I guess, the personal side of things from the entrepreneur side of things, where you just have to consume, you know, the data and stuff that you're seeing on a daily basis, the media, it can be tough at times. But on the positive light with Black Pound Day, I think that's definitely something that should be celebrated, because it gives us a sense of ownership and unity. And I think we need to see more of that, and just us working together as a community and a collective. I'm sure everyone else will agree that it's a positive and a plus for us.
Key or Fred? Freddie, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I think during like lockdown, especially with you know, Black Lives Matter movement, I you know, tried, due to George Floyd's death and that, I think in a way there's been a blessing in disguise for the business, and I think for other Black businesses as well. Obviously, I always believe that, you know, with every negative there's some sort of positive somewhere. So I think even myself, I was surprised to kind of see on social media how many Black businesses there are. And I think a load of people as well. But I've been, during a lockdown, I even got some creams and etc. from Black businesses. So I think it's been a blessing in disguise, I'd like to say. I think it's kind of helped us open our eyes and kind of realize that, you know, if we're going to support people, now's the moment to just continue, you know, supporting one another. And in terms of my brand, I've kind of been quite fortunate, as you can see from the design. It's an African type of brand, so a load of our customers are Black, and it's kind of gone, you know, flourished massively. And there's been loads of sales, and I've kind of been fortunate that I haven't been at my 9 to 5, and I've been able to kind of, you know, been on the go and interact with customers and people who are interested in the brand. So it's been a blessing for myself, and I feel, going back to the question about being independent, and you know, it's important to be patient in life as well. So I'm quite grateful for this period, and I'm glad that I was ready for, you know, the positive side that I kind of expected to happen. So yeah, I'd like to end on that.
This question's for Michael. Did you, from the COVID-19 experience, did it bring across any gaps within your business, or did you see any gaps from the COVID-19 experience?
Gaps, I would say it just kind of exposed that a lot of musicians needed to, you know, kind of improve their digital marketing side of things, as it's not an area that a lot of indies focus on, because they're heavily focused on the creative side. It just exposed the need for us to put out more content that was value orientated, to help them understand how they can get their music out there using digital mediums in the best way possible. So the biggest gap was just, I guess, the knowledge gap that was exposed by independent musicians or producers, you know, not having their content out in the right sort of mediums and understanding how to get it out to their right ideal target audiences. I would say that was the biggest gap that I noticed.
And Freddie, you can also add anything on this. How was your support? Did you get any support during the time?
Fred, gonna go? Or?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, I got, ML got a lot of support. I got a lot of support. You know, being an entrepreneur, I kind of met other entrepreneurs online, and got loads of good feedback on the brand. I got feedback to the extent where people were saying, Fred, I didn't know this was your brand. I've seen it. I didn't know it was yours. But then, funny enough, what I found is, like, I found people obviously knowing about ML, but only supporting it when they knew it was me, which I found a bit strange. You know what I mean? So I think there's some sort of side within our community where perhaps there may be some that don't want to see people shine. They might see something from a distance, really be fond of it, but don't really want to express their, their feelings towards it. And I think, I don't know if there's a cure for that, but I think in a way people kind of need to, I'm coming off subject anyway, but I think there needs to be some sort of way where people can kind of support businesses even more and stop the whole, I'd say hating on brands, I'd say, or hating on entrepreneurs or ideas that people might have. And actually, if you're fond of something and you like it, go and like it, go and follow and go and share it. Don't hesitate to do that. So I can go, Michael, if you've got anything else you'd like to say.
No, I definitely agree with what you're saying over there in regards to just the genuine support from people within our community and just wanting to see you thrive from the get-go without expecting you to be attached to like a celeb or, someone that's big before they jump on the bandwagon. I think that's definitely something that needs to change on a psychological level within our community as well. But for me, in regards to support, I would say pretty much things stay the same. I'm blessed to have like a supportive network that's small around me already that just uplift me, like Zara, Rihanna, and other people within my social network that just uplift what I'm doing anyway. But to be honest with you, I have noticed that it's mostly strangers, like even musicians from Ireland that are just, bigging up the work that we're doing at Grand X Agency. But all in all, I'm just grateful for any support that I do receive because it's a blessing when you start from the ground upwards. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Michael, and thank you, Freddie, thank you, Keith. I just seen Nathaniel. He's jumped on. He's all the way from Jamaica. I want him to introduce yourself, if you can. Can you hear me? Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, Zara. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I should say good day to those who are in the other side of the world. Yeah, my name is Nathaniel Pete. I'm an entrepreneur. I run 3 companies. One of them is a company called Gen X. We have operations in Africa and soon to have operations in the Caribbean as well. We train and teach young people how to build solar and also provide solar solutions for commercial and residential properties. I have another company which is called the Safety Box, and that works predominantly with young people at risk. We work across all sectors of the education, from primary to secondary to colleges to pupil referral units and also in prisons. And we deliver alternative curriculum to help them to elevate from positions of negative mindsets into actually a place where they're able to get jobs and have opportunities with education. And so that's had a measured impact of over 8,500 young people in the United Kingdom, and also done some work overseas as well internationally. So really briefly, that's me, and I'm very much into profit with purpose. So everything which I'm about is about trying to empower people's lives, and at the same time, you've still got to make money. So it's really about profit with purpose.
Great, thank you, Nathaniel. Thanks for coming in, even when you're driving. Thank you. So before I move on to the last point, which will be the recovery process and questions about that, I just want to open the floor a bit for those who've joined in. You may have a business or you want to talk about your process during the COVID-19 and how you survived. So if anybody's on here and they want to they have a point to raise or they want to question one of our entrepreneurs, go ahead. Okay, I'm not going to wait.
Well, I probably can come in, Zara, because how we've had to modify what we do over the COVID-19 has been a lot of within the Safety Box business in particular. We've got a lot of contracts with the Ministry of Justice, Home Office, and these guys in delivering services for prisons, education in prison. And because we haven't had the ability to do face-to-face interaction with the prisoners, where my team, my staff members haven't been able to go in, what we've had to do is develop a complete brand new project, which basically allows us to put this on a DVD and put that DVD into the prison. And then we've developed a whole brand new workbook. And within this workbook, now that is now accredited in order for them to get the certification without us being present. And that's basically a way in which we've mitigated it, moving everything from face-to-face onto DVD. And that means that they can actually play this in cells and then have a workbook, a self-study guide, which has enabled us to continue this in the best way that we have possible, to unlock, their self-development skills and personal development, and move a lot of the curriculum into things that they can do by themselves. So that's the way in which we've kind of come into the gap, in amongst COVID, and maintained in the contract, so that it doesn't die.
Okay. So COVID-19 showed you and your company a gap in which you can monopolize on it. So, and that's one thing that we should have, hopefully all of us have taken in account, is COVID-19 actually exposed many things in the business. It could be how do we become more mobile, or how do we become more digital? For Nathaniel, would you say, what's your point on getting grants or bounce back loans or funding? What would you say for that? What would you add to that? Is that a good thing, or would you say just hold it?
Well, what I would say is that I'll cover first the grant scheme. Grants is essentially free money, in the sense that you have the ability to then maintain your operations and keep doing things. So, like, if you've got an office to maintain, then a grant, where you've got the boroughs in London in particular that were offering office rent, that's free money essentially to keep your office moving. So grants is never a bad thing if you have the ability to do it. I'd say, move towards that. If you're looking at actually scaling your company and you're looking at an accelerator, at the point basically whereby your valuation is good and now you can have investment into your company, the bounce back loan scheme is actually much better than an investment. So if you get a bounce back loan of 100 grand, you're looking at interest rates of like 2.5%. You're not going to get that for an early stage startup. You're looking at maybe 20% returns with an investor, that's an angel investor, that's going to put maybe 100 grand or 200 grand into your company. But where you're looking at the bounce back loan, that comes with very low interest rates. So it could actually be an option for companies which are seeking investment and have the ability to pay it back. The key thing is the ability to pay it back. If you haven't got the money to pay it back, do not get the loan. Debt is no good. Debt is no good. However, good debt is good. And so similar to debt financing, whereby you have the bounce back loan, which is only 2.5%, I believe, somewhere around it. You can go and check it just in case. But it is better for you to actually do that than actually look at now an investor that might take more. So there's benefits to it, and part of the recovery is to really try to work together. There's ways around things, and is looking for as many opportunities that you can to get the discounts on various different things so that you can become more robust and just basically strengthen your business. So I would say that, it's not about, grants. If you've got the ability to go for the grant, go for it. If you're in a position where you can actually get a bounce back loan and you're looking for investment for your company to scale it could be another option for you actually to tap into. So that's sort of my take on recovery.
Okay. How about you, Michael? What do you want to see amongst the black businesses? What do you want to see?
Well, in regards to recovery, or just
on the recovery process?
I would just love there to be more support for the different types of businesses that have been brought to the light. More equal opportunity in regards to grants or any financial schemes that are out there. I guess the most important thing would just be accessibility and support during the process, because a lot of people just hop into entrepreneurship, but they've had no prior experience to filling out, grant applications or understanding how the different financial schemes benefit or don't benefit them. As Nathaniel just mentioned, he broke it down, and I'm sure there's more details that weren't disclosed in what he just said there. So I just believe that within the black businesses that are being brought to the light, they need accessibility, support, and just someone to help them to apply for the grants and the schemes that are out there to support their businesses. And it's something that I would like firsthand as well.
Freddie, how about you? I know that you are you're also a dad. So how are you keeping the balance between working from home, looking after your children, and also running your business?
Yeah, so funny enough, I think obviously during lockdown, a lot of us have probably had a bit more time on our hands. And I think, being at home, working the 9 to 5 and, being in a busy, household, I've kind of taken a time out to actually started playing football with my friends. Mentally, I think that was quite vital for me to kind of, my mental well-being, that's helped. In terms of financially, I work 9 to 5, so I'll be fine for now. And like I said, the business is doing pretty good now. It's doing okay. So yeah, that's mainly it.
Does anybody want to add on to that? Have you done well in adapting to the new way of working? Does anybody want to add on to that? The entrepreneurs, Michael, Nathaniel, Freddie.
Well, I was just going to say, in regards to how we're working as an agency, not much has shifted because we've always been on the digital side of things. So it's just been a case of just assessing different ways that we can kind of connect with independent musicians or producers and help them along their journey to marketing themselves better. So it's just looking at the value that we're providing in regards to resources or courses, and just seeing how we can fine tune it to meet the needs of, you know, the independent music community that we support. So just assessing what we're doing and the services and improving upon that.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Freddie? You want to add to that?
Nathaniel, did Nathaniel want to say something, or?
Yeah.
Now I can hear him.
For us, as in particular, with a lot of it is service driven, so a lot of it's face to face. And where we have trauma and we're dealing with trauma, that involves a psychologist to actually sit down to handle a lot of the issues with many of the men and the young people which we're working with. So we've actually had to now become more robust in terms of our digital side, whereby we've got an artificial intelligence now working with a company called Full Spectrum, which will be a input-driven AI, which has the ability to look at the tendency of what intervention will be suitable for a particular type of person, whilst that profile is being built. So a psychologist will ask them questions like, how do you feel when this happens? Or what's your emotion when this happens? Or what happens when this? That's now transitioned to an AI, which we've connected to another company to do that, because we're not a digital company. They are. And so this is where we've had to collaborate now to actually put this in and make it more robust. On top of that, the curriculum is so robust now that it has become accredited. And so we can now accredit the course up to level 2, which gives us that extra ability to sell it over our other service providers, which are trying to offer a similar type of service. Because it's now, we've got that ability to give them that qualification at the end, as well as being able to scale it to more people now, because you don't need one psychologist, because this AI has the ability to pick up the information that can be analyzed by a psychologist, which can then look at then the best intervention for that person. So that's how we've had to sort of modify that. You know, it's actually made us better.
Okay, we are drawing to an end, but before we end, I want to hear from like your 3 tips on success of a business. This is something I had asked you beforehand, which those who are joined in, you can request a copy of the PDF, and it will be shared on Twitter and hopefully on the streams of the entrepreneurs who have joined in today. So please follow them and hashtag them and get to see what they do. They're all doing amazing stuff. Okay, so I want to hear 3 tips on success of a business, something that you can share with individuals who have joined today. So anyone who would like to start, Key, Michael, Nathaniel, or Fred. Remember to unmute.
I would say the first tip I would give is, if you say you can't take the tea away, and believe that you can, because I think it goes back to the question you asked in regards to like self-belief. You just have to believe, you know, anything that, you know, you want to do, you can turn it into a reality, and just find the right sort of people to help you bring that idea to life. Secondly, I would say that any successful business that is being run, even though it may have 1 or 2 CEOs, it always has a team and a group of people working in unison. So I think it's highly important to just have a team to support you in whatever endeavors that you're pushing forward. And thirdly, just enjoy the process, because, you know, even though 2020 has been tough on all of us, you know, I'm sure, as Frederick said before, you know, his mental peace was helped when he went to go and play football with his friends. And that's, you know, some of the stuff that we often forget as entrepreneurs, that it's a journey, and, you know, we always look at the bigger picture, but sometimes we just need to, you know, appreciate and enjoy the process. So have fun while you're reaching your goals, and don't forget your why you started.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I'd say the 3 points for me are 3 P's that I usually go by. So being patient is one. For example, with me, I've been patient with the brand. It's actually taken a good 3 years for me to kind of see something, and I'm blessed the fact that my dad, put the words he did in that he said to me, because I could have literally looked at other brands and been like, mine's not as successful as theirs, and kind of called it a day. So being patient is one. Being persistent, find ways to find the answer. Keep pivoting. There's the internet. We've been blessed by the internet. I know growing up, I only started using the internet at the age of probably 12. So the answers are there. We've got friends, family, we've got social media. I can talk to, for example, I don't know, another brand through a DM, for example. So being very persistent and pivoting and finding ways. Just if you've got a thought, go with it. There must be an answer for it. And if there isn't an answer, just pivot and find another way. And lastly is to just remain positive, and just to touch on to what a few of the other entrepreneurs have said is to reward yourself and do a small task, do a large task, and then take the time out. With me, I found like I've mentioned, playing sport, that's a reward for me. So I go to that reward, and then it pushes me to now tick off another task on my list. So I think just being positive, and law of attraction, if you think positively, then positive outcomes will come. I know it sounds cheesy, but it honestly is true. So just be very positive and believe in yourself. And yeah, that's mainly it.
Daniel?
Yeah. For me, you need to, every single quarter in the year, you need to ask yourself this question. What is it that my business does that's different for every other business that's out there? And part of the reason why you're asking that question every single quarter is to stay current. You see, a lot of companies go under because they don't stay current. Example, Kodak, where you would go and get a portable camera, lost out because they didn't stay current to iPhones and to phones that could take pictures. Blockbusters didn't ask themselves that question. What makes me different from every other service or business out there? What happened? Blockbusters went under, and you've got digital. It went on to DVDs, and so that first tip really. If I turn my camera, can you hear me now?
We can hear you. We kind of lost you for a bit. We did, but we can hear you now.
Right. What I say is have a unique selling point, because if you don't have a unique selling point, you're going to go under. The second tip I say is this. Find people that are better at doing it than you. Example, if you don't know how to bake a cake,
I'm sure someone will find a baker just to complete it
properly, then get someone that can bake a cake properly.
So sorry. Nathaniel, we cannot hear you. Before we leave, I just want Freddie to just show us some of your caps. You've got some in the background. So show us some of your caps, turn it around, bring it to the screen so we can see what you've got there.
Yeah, so these first two, these were the ones that my father saw. So I designed these in 2017, and these were basically the birth of the brand. So there's these black and white, maroon, and then we've got the Kente one, which is quite popular. I don't know if you can see the design there.
Okay.
And it's got a bit at the back. And we've got a bright one that you British people, UK guys need to get. They don't buy bright colours. We're a bit boring. We need to buy bright colours. So
orange suits a bit of melanin people. I can say that.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. We need to buy bright colours. So if you can, if you know someone who's into bright colours, follow the brand and let them know. Just spread the word.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is what it's all about. It's about supporting. So even if you have your book on show, you can also share as well. It's all about. And Michael, you also do T-shirts and caps as well, and other products that I know of. It's all about supporting. We are not going to be putting on conversations and not support each other, even if it's a like, a share, or a comment. So after this, as we close, please do stalk them. I'm sure they won't mind, as long as you're liking, sharing, and commenting. Stalk them, fall and share them. That's all. That's all you have to do. Does anybody, any of the audiences want to add? Anybody who wants to give sound advice or promote their business?
No, I would just like to say thank you, Zara, for the opportunity, and thank you for the rest of the entrepreneurs for sharing their stories, their journey, and yeah, let's just keep on pushing with what we're doing and moving as a unit to push, our businesses forward beyond this.
Okay, great. One last thing, I just want to say thank you for the support of Jamming UK. Box of Prince is my own baby, and Mayor of Alonso. I thank you for the support and best wishes to everyone, really. Okay, so I was going to say peace out, but that's not how we end it professionally. So have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.